Bones, dirt, and stone are the occupants of a cemetery in the heartless sense. Those who rest here, the children, parents, friends, have met the end of their lives, and physical body dies. This will leave a hole in the lives of the people they previously knew. Children are often shielded from the concept of death. Fairy tales have been censored and altered to have a happy ending, contrary to the original idea. The Wicked Witch from Snow White is forced to dance in searing hot shoes until her death. The Little Mermaid, Ariel, is turned into sea foam after her rejection by the prince. And the tale of the Hunchback of Notre Dame ends with Quasimodo clutching the recently hanged body of Esmeralda until he dies of grief and starvation. But is this kind of sugarcoating good for young people? Are romantic ideas of death, like dying from a broken heart, best kept unmentioned? Maybe. But broken heart syndrome, a type of cardiomyopathy, is a real condition. Grief is identifiable in its stages but varies for all sufferers. Not everybody will die because a spouse or a loved one has passed away.
Navarro. My name is Lori Navarro, born in Bandon, Oregon. My dad worked in logging. He was a logger and worked in the plywood plant all of his life. 29 years old when my father died, yes. It's probably, distance-wise, I lived in Arizona and he still lived up in Oregon. But yes, we were close. They came and visited. I went up there a lot. We talked on the phone a lot. Went to the doctor, found out he had lung cancer. They later realized that that was not the primary cancer. He had either pancreas or liver cancer. They had told us he probably would live about another 18 months. And in reality, we found out in August, and he died October 30th of the same year. The phone rang, and I'd seen a shooting star. We were coming home, and I had seen a shooting star, and as soon as the phone rang, it was my brother. I knew Dad had gone. Dad had gone. And I left the next day, so I flew up to Oregon on Halloween, which was horrible. People were in costume, everybody else was happy, and it was that feeling of, why is the rest of the world continuing? Don't they know what's happened? And it was really hard. Shock, I think, is probably the initial reaction. Being told that someone's going to be okay and probably be around for another 18 months to 2 years, and then having them pass as quickly as he did was really hard. The funeral was interesting. The dark, rainy, gray November day. It was just kind of a somber day. Probably around his birthday, which is Christmas Eve. It was Christmas Eve. And probably around Halloween. That's probably the two times when I do. That and when I'm actually up there, I think about him more, just because there's more reminders up there of him than there are anywhere else. Mom stayed in the same house and changed her life from being married to being on her own. And she was very successful at it. She was very adaptable. I have to give Mom credit there. I think more about like my mom's mortality and my own. Kind of that general, the way things are supposed to go in life.
Some people will remain in fear of death, trying to find comfort in religion or the facts of the physical world. Some may even seek a path of immortality, but one thing is true. Death will come for us all. Thinking of your end can be difficult, but accepting it is the easiest way to live.